Yo.
Hi there, welcome to Sunset Station, your favorite radio podcast for you to listen while you relax. I'm Rina, and with me are Dan and Ocampo. Today we're going to make a dialogue between you guys, the listeners, and us, the hosts. We're going to talk about different social topics such as the impact of motherhood on women, multiculturalism, and otherness, which may be unknown terms for many of you. We're also going to talk about Chicano culture. What do you guys actually know about it? I'm pretty sure that for many young Latinos living in the US and all over America, this is going to be very interesting.
Radio.
So we live in a society where it is kind of an obligation for women to become mothers, right? It has definitely changed over the years, but there are still many girls who are looked down upon society if they choose to not have children.
Yeah, I think many of our mothers and grandmothers were not given the chance to study or work, so the only thing they could do was to have children. Now you see a lot more of young women who have master's degrees and who work as much as men do. But many of them still believe they have to be mothers.
Yeah, becoming mother is part of the stereotype of the ideal woman, isn't it? Why do you think that happens, Dan?
It is a stereotype. Many people think that it's a belief that came out of the reproductive need humans had in the past, a biological need. But I certainly think it only is that we're used to it.
Exactly. Women were given the task of reproduction in the past, but the society has maintained that belief over millions of years. Why?
At the very end, being a woman is out of the norm, and when societies were made, it was easier, and still it's easier to control what's different. What we gotta do now, though, is break all these stereotypes, empower women, and look for equality.
That's the thing. And if a girl wants to become a mother, that's completely okay. But it has to be her own decision, not an imposition. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic, multiculturalism.
Multiculturalism, that is. How would you define that, Ocampo?
According to an online dictionary, it is the preservation of different cultures within an unified society as a state or nation. So basically, the coexistence of different cultures in a country, maybe.
And we need respect for that coexistence to exist, right?
Definitely. It's not only to live under the same space, but to recognize and respect our cultural differences. Understanding that no culture is better than the other, and we can all live together and interact between each other. Have a great time despite all those differences.
Yeah, but will you guys think of Mexico as a multicultural nation? That's a question for the public as well. Make sure to send your opinion to our social media so we can continue discussing this topic after the podcast ends.
I don't know, Rina. The fact is that there are many different cultures living in our home nation, Mexico. But will that be enough to make it multicultural?
Probably not, because even when all these different cultures are living in the same country, the truth is that most of these minorities are not respected.
Most indigenous groups are not seen as part of the society. They're even excluded from it most of the time. We definitely have to work on not only living together, but also on respecting and validating our beliefs, traditions, and opinions altogether.
So the next topic is otherness. Many of you may not even know what it is, but for many sociologists, it means the capacity of being different, of building your identity by recognizing the characteristics that make you different from the other.
Actually, that's how we define ourselves and how we at the same time define the other. We see what it is that makes us different from them and we define them as a reflection of what we're not. But isn't that kind of bad, categorizing in order to identify ourselves? Aren't we excluding them by doing so?
That's exactly what we're trying to make the discussion about. What do you guys at home think? How can we define the other without putting ourselves in the equation?
No, girls, I'm going to answer while we receive opinions from the media, but I think we do need to identify what makes us different because these differences are valid and they're what makes us socially diverse after all. The thing here is that we shouldn't categorize each other, of course. It's a hard thing to do, but we should just see our differences, respect them, and let others live how they want to live, but not expect them to be what society expects them to be.
Yes, that's absolutely something we all have to work on. Before we move on, send us what do you think about otherness. Who do you think is often classified as the other, and how can we live without exploiting each other?
Radio.
Our final topic, Chicano culture, and of course we would like to have more time to talk about such an interesting culture, but let's make it quick, guys. Tell me the basics of Chicano culture, Ocampo.
Right, the basics. Chicanos are those persons who are born in the US but whose parents are Mexican. So they have a mix of both the Mexican culture they were raised with and the American culture they live in.
Chicanos have faced a lot of struggles in the US, a lot of racism, oppression, and exclusion. They were forced to shut down their Latino part completely in the past. They will be prosecuted if they were found speaking Spanish or practicing anything of the Mexican culture. And this has happened not only to Chicanos but to all Latinos, and I dare to say to all immigrants living in the US.
And it still happens, especially now during Trump's administration. Many Chicanos and Latinos find that they are unrepresented and discriminated by white supremacists. They are often not treated the same way in any social space out there.
Certainly a very sad situation, and of course would like to talk more about it, but unfortunately we don't have enough time. For all Latinos and Chicanos out there, please always let your voice be heard. We're gonna close the podcast today by reading an extract of a poem written by a Chicano citizen. Please enjoy and thank you for being with us.
Yo soy Chicano. I am Chicano. My brown skin has the stories running through my blood, so that you have to get to know me to learn from me. I'll teach you about my culture. I'll take you through my story. And by the time I'm done, you'll know what to tell them when they ask you who I am. You'll tell them, Él es la luna. He's the moon lighting up the darkness of the night. He wears his last name proud, never forgetting his roots. I want them to know that I am a son, got thrown into a broken family, struggle after struggle, but I still won. I'm a survivor. Man, I'm insane. I put up with all the pain, but I'm still going. I'm still at war. I'm always be a minority, never be anybody's priority. Call me an advocate, and I'll stand up for your rights, because in the end, it's all the same fight. I'll inspire you, teach you how to hope, think of a new tomorrow, a better yesterday. I'm a 5 feet tall, perfect image of what it means to be free. Thanks to those who are helping me succeed. Now let me show you how well I take the lead. Just tell me what you need, but remember to tell them that I am Chicano.